Hello, everyone. I'm very excited to tell you that the big yellow monster is up and working again. I have power in my shop. I'm good to go. I'm so excited. So for today's project, I thought it would be fun to work on something that I found at my local thrift store. This is a decorative pineapple. And I have something in mind for it. I have a piece of ceramic inside that my wife has that I've been wanting to make something that looked like it. And I will, I'm going to go inside and get it and show it off to you for the inspiration for it. Excuse me. But this is what I'm going to be turning today. And I don't even know, I don't know what it is. It does seem to be solid. It's hollowed out partially on the bottom side, although this is not centered. So I'm going to be grabbing it from the top here. So I'm gonna play with this a little bit. You get to watch. Thank you. So the thing that I'm going to start with today is just putting this end into my smaller chuck, and then I want to even out this hole so that I can actually grip the piece from this side. This is going to be the base eventually, but I need a place to grip the piece on the top side. As you can see, I'm not even. I am going to bring my tailstock up. It's just my 1/2 inch spindle gouge. Let's see what happens. Again, I don't even know what this wood is. So the label on this says made in the Philippines. So I assume it is something native to the Philippines. And it's got a bunch of cracks and splits and stuff like that. But since I'm just playing, I'm not real concerned about all of that. This isn't really, not really intending this to be practical. I just wanted to see what I could come up with. All right, now I'm going to switch chucks. Honestly, don't really even know what I'm getting into here. This could be just a piece of trash. So I'm going to go back to my 1/2 inch spindle gouge, and I'm going to just try to even some of this stuff out. Honestly, I'm not even positive that this is all one solid piece, but I'm pretty sure that it is. And I think the base is going to have to be all the way up here. Otherwise, like this is going to be too small a base for the piece to sit on. So all of this is going to go away. Okay. This worries me a little bit. So there is a pith in this piece, which is what this crack is from. This comes all the way from the pith. Because this is so dry, I am deciding to I'm going to fill this. I'm going to fill this split, I think, because the piece is already so dry and seems to be pretty stable. So I think what I'm going to do here is that the chuck that I want to hold this in is a little smaller than the base that I have. But I think what I will do is I want to leave it larger, and then I will turn it around and refinish the bottom. And I've removed the tailstock. So I'm just turning gently here. I'm a little out of whack. Since I am going to do it this way, what I'm going to do is leave a little shoulder also. Just so I have a place for the jaws to locate. Again, the corners of the jaws are digging in, which gives it a good secure hold. And I'm still bringing the tailstock in. So now I'm effectively turning between centers. This actually, I'm going to see how deep this this crack goes. I see that on the end here, it doesn't go all the way through. So I'm just going to, I don't need this piece to be this big in diameter. So I'm going to take it down a bit. This is still fine for what I'm trying to accomplish with this. Because the piece that I'm trying to replicate is not this big in the top. And yes, I know I still have to show it to you. Okay. See, look how much that's diminished. That's great. That I can cope with. So I'm just going to drop some, actually, I'm going to drop some shavings in there, like so. Just rub some, really just, I'm rubbing some shavings into that, and the shavings break apart and fill that crack with, I guess, what you might call particulate, or whatever. And then I'm going to put some. Actually, I was going to use a like a Gorilla Glue type thing, but for it's small enough now, I think I can. I'm just going to use just acrylic super glue, like one normally does in this kind of a case. That will actually seep down into the crack a little better. It's not as solid a glue, but but that crack is actually small enough. I think it'll be just fine. So now I'm going to figure out the rim and the inside. First of all, I'm going to take this down a little bit. Might even take it. and I'm going to do some hollowing. As you can see, there's already been some hollowing done on this when it was a pineapple. Not evenly. So let's see what I can do with this, if anything. I feel like I'm too far out to do any back hollowing. Probably will be better done with a scraper, but I just want to get some of the, this hole is so uneven. Trying to do it with a scraper is going to be pretty rocky. So I'm just going to try and settle that down a little bit. So now the scraper, when I go in with the scraper, hopefully it won't be quite as rough. What I have found is that this wood does not seem to like to get scraped. Although the side grain seems to be okay. And I would normally be like this over top of the tool, giving it lots of support, but then you can't see much. So I actually have I'm going to use my longer handled, deeper scraper. Not only is this scraper longer handled, it's a little thicker. Just trying to stay out of the way of the camera. So all I'm doing right now is still trying to get this hole that was taken out of this already round, because it's very out of round. I actually don't think I need to go for what I'm trying to do, which I realize I haven't showed you yet. For what I'm trying to do, I don't need to go a whole lot deeper than this. I also am probably going a touch slow, about 1,000, and I'm going to take it up a little bit. 1300. I think neither one of us can see here. So again, what I'm just trying to get the walls even, and then what I will do is I will be able to. I think I have succeeded now. I have the walls even, so now I can go in and make the walls thinner. Always a good idea, I think, to use your smallest and shortest tool that you can. So I could use my big, heavy, long scraper for this, but then it doesn't stay heavy and long as long. This is very dusty, so I'm actually going to turn on my dust extractor. I think you get the idea of what I'm trying to do here. So maybe I'll come back to you when I have this pretty well hollowed out. So just briefly, here is the piece that I am trying to emulate here. So it is a slightly outflowing but mainly straight-sided dish with on a pedestal. My wife has had this for years, and I always thought it was elegant and always wanted to try to make something similar to it. I'm not going to do the flutes, which I like also, but not in turning. So that's what I'm trying to make here. So I've done the inside, all finished with that. I took the liberty of sanding and finishing it. So now I'm going to be able to come out here and do the outside, which I realize is backwards. On a piece such as this, it's a good idea to leave as much bulk in the base for support when you're hollowing the inside. So this is also not cylindrical on the inside. It is smaller down here at the back than it is, or down on it's smaller at the bottom than it is at the top, which you may have noticed the inspiration piece is as well. I also just want to mark my depth. So that's about where the inside bottom is, which means if I want to, that's about the depth that I want, or that's about the wall thickness that I want. So I'm going to come in here with my parting tool. I'm not going to go real deep, but I just want to mark where my bottom is. So again, if we look at the inspiration piece, which I will in just a moment, it's smaller here, but is still outflowing. So that's what I'm trying to get to now. And I'm going to get some of this out of my way. When working with an inspiration piece as I am now, I am tempted to try and make it exact and stop and look at the inspiration piece too often. And I'm trying not to do that, because what I want to do is take inspiration from the piece, hence the name, not try to copy it. I'm trying to emulate it and take inspiration from it without trying to make it exact. Because if I try and make it exact, it'll fail. That feels pretty good to me. I want to point out here that the peeling cut does not have to solely be a roughing cut. You can often get a pretty nice finish with a peeling cut. Now, again, looking at my inspiration piece, I don't need all of this as my stem. And the base is relatively wide compared to the rest of the piece. So I actually think my base can be here, which is going to be nicer anyway. Using my half-inch spindle gouge to just get away some bulk. And actually, before I go too far, before I go any further, I'm going to sand the outside top here while I still have some support. Good. have a little bead at the top here. If I can get it done nicely. That looks good. I feel like the sand is a little bit thick. I feel like maybe it's still a little bit thick. That's better. Should be able to come down on the bead here a little bit as well. Or the band if you prefer it to be a band. Just need my smaller skew chisel. Okay. That's fine. I want to give myself a little bit of a nicer cut here at the base and going in a little bit. That's where my base is going to be. So this is just getting pure walnut oil. No wax. At least not at the moment. So then last thing is I'm just going to turn down as much of this as I can before I part it off, because it will be easier to get a nicer cut on it this way. Yeah, the parting tool doesn't make a very nice cut. That's the point that I'm making here. I think that's good enough. Okay, I'm also going to finish removing this with a handsaw because I'm chicken. I'm all about being a bold risk taker when turning, but not needlessly. You get better by taking risks. But something like this is, you don't get any better by doing this. Good enough. Now we just have to finish the bottom. I think I can use this piece of cherry. This cherry is face grain. So I can't use mesquite chisel. This is really good practice for things like fitting the bottom of, or fitting box lids and things like that. Just starting by screwing it up and then turning this is a tapering sort of flange, I guess you would call it. That is too big. So there are two little burnish marks right here. And right in between them is where this is going to fit. Close. Almost. You don't want to smack it on there because then you get a crack and it doesn't do anybody any good. So close. Now, actually, I think the problem is that this is tapered. This is too straight, actually, for the inside of my piece here. I don't need to actually hold this on here. I just need to keep it centered. And that's going to do it. So I've left some space in the base so that I can bring the tailstock up. Take this is my 3/8 spindle gouge. And again, I think what I think this is acacia, which I've turned a couple of times. Similarly, like things like this that I found at a thrift store or something like that. I don't know how solid it is, so I'm being careful here because I don't want the this little nub to break off. At least not until I'm ready for it to. Okay, there's my base. I'm just going to sand and then I will take that little nub off. Fine. I think I'm actually going to do this also by hand. Just going to take my smaller skew chisel. So so everyone has a frame of reference again, here is the inspiration piece, and here is the turned item. I'm very happy with that. Not bad for a thrift store find. It turned out pretty cool. Anyway, this was a little lengthy. So thanks for being patient with me. Thanks for watching. If you got all the way through it, I hope you learned something. Come back and see me again.